this computer. All right, so you will get this, the ones that weren't able to watch or whatever, you'll get it via email. So if y'all are on here, the next time I do this, I've got this little tab up here to remind me, but you see, I didn't even look at it to start the recording, but this is a good time to start the recording. Okay, so I've had several questions come in, and so I want to answer those. And just if you're feeling overwhelmed, don't do that. Are you feeling overwhelmed? Shake your head. Yeah. No. Okay. It's really, ask some of these that have been on here. It's really not complicated. It's hard because it's new, but it's not complicated. And here's why I say it's not complicated. It's meat and vegetables, eggs, some nuts, some seeds, some dairy, of course, coffee and tea and water, but it's not complicated. So don't make it complicated. The only thing really that to me that's complicated about it at first is learning how to count your carbs. So I say we don't count anything. I don't ever think about calories anymore. And I remember I used to look at each and think, oh, that's 80 calories. I was always thinking about calories. I never think about calories anymore. I think about sugar, really, carbs. And when I say sugar, I mean carbs. So that's, breads, cereals, chips, grains, and really it's the what I call complex carbs that you really are wanting to shy away from. So and here's what I want to say too, and we're going to talk about this in weeks to come. So every week and even every day in the app, I'm going to be posting things. I'm going to be posting videos. So you're going to be an expert. I'm just going to tell you. Celine, do you feel like an expert? Yep. Okay. Tina, do you feel like an expert? Yep. There's Tina. Donna, do you feel like an expert? Yeah. Yeah. Because you know exactly what to do. It's not complicated. So you just want to keep those carbs down. So here's what you're going to have to learn how to do. You're going to have to learn how to take this phone and get on Google and say, like, here's what I'll do. I'll Google how many carbs in pecans. And because you could text me and ask me and I could tell you, but then you wouldn't really learn it. I want you to learn how to find this out yourself. So I just go on Google, how many carbs in pecans, and it pops up and it says 4 carbs per 10 nuts or whatever it is, or how many carbs in cabbage, or how many carbs in squash, or how many carbs. And so you're going to learn how to do that really easily. Now here's a text coming in from Angie. Let me see. Okay, she doesn't have adequate service to get on Zoom. Zoom does take a good bit of internet support. Okay, so I want you to learn how to Google, because it's kind of like with the carbs, it's like learning how much money you have in your checking account. So if you're going to do 20 carbs a day, all right, then you know that if you have something, whatever it is, and it's 18 carbs, you're kind of at your budget for the day. All right. So you're not going to be able to do this and that. It's kind of like, I know I can't go to Belk's every day and stay in my budget. So that's kind of how you think about your food. It's like, okay, I can do this. So people text me all the time, can I have this? I'm like, you can have anything. But will it work for you? Will you be able to shred fat if you do that? All right. So you're wanting to have in your mind kind of a
something else here.
Your carbs on. Okay. Does that make sense? All right. Okay. So we just want to keep it simple. Okay. I've got me some notes over here. So it's really all about keeping your insulin down and the nutrition up. And when I say nutrition, I mean your good nutrients. All right, so there are really 5 things that I would encourage you to do. So you want to get your okay. You want to get, hey Martha. Okay. Yeah. So you want to get, you want to eat your vegetables. Now, some of y'all said I don't like vegetables. Well, I would encourage you to start tasting some vegetables and try to get some vegetables into your diet. It's kind of like your car. You don't pull up to the gas station and say, well, I wonder what kind of gas I want to use. You just use what's there, what's available. It's, you know, it's provided. So if you're really picky and you're pushing away from everything, you're going to make it harder on yourself. Now, at the beginning, you definitely want to start adding some fat into your diet and getting the carbs out. All right, the unhealthy carbs. So that's going to be your soft drinks, your chips, your cereals, you know, all those things. And you pretty much got that down. But you want to add some fat, especially at the beginning, because putting the fat in your body is going to help you to get into ketosis quicker. Now, later, you want to cut back on some of those fats, but right at the beginning, you want to get a lot of fat. So what are the things? I'm going to open up the chat and I want you to put it in here. What are the things you can eat that add fat to your diet? Just type it in the chat. What are they? What are some of the things? Okay.
Can you turn up your volume a little bit, Nancy?
Turn it up. How about now? Is that better?
About the same.
I don't know. Okay, I'll talk a little louder, but I'm not sure why it wouldn't be picking up. So avocados, meat, yep, cream cheese, heavy whipping cream, all of those are right. Olives are a good source of good fat. Bacon, eggs have some fat. Okay, your cheese. All right, so you want to be adding those fats. MCT oil, grass-fed butter. Okay, so some of you new folks may be asking, why grass-fed butter? Why not just regular butter? Well, here's the thing. Hey, Brenda, I see you down there. Okay, so here's the thing. You know, I don't want to eat something that came from an animal that ate something that I wouldn't eat. So if a cow is eating grain all the time, and I'm eating the butter from that cow, then I'm getting some of that. So that's why I use grass-fed butter. Okay. And you can find it's more expensive. I try to use grass-fed cheese. Okay. Does that make sense? I mean, it does cost it costs more money, but it's worth it, I think, you know, and your family is worth it. The same thing. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's an investment in the rest of your life. So I just want to encourage you that, you know, I've been doing this now for about 10 years, and at 65, I'm the healthiest 65-year-old I know. And I'm not saying that to impress you, but to impress upon you that you're worth it. And so even like the organic, all right, so I know there's not that much organic available in our area, but like if I go to buy bell pepper, for instance, and they'll have a package of 3 bell peppers that's like $3.98 or something like that, and then I can go over here and get one that's not organic, you know, well, now they're almost $2, but whatever it is. But here's what I want to tell you. Organic food is reported to, now this is from the research that I've done, have 20 to 40% more nutrition than non-organic. So if I'm buying, I got 2 bell peppers here, one's organic and one's not, and this one's $1 more. All right, here's what I'm getting. I'm getting more nourishment from it. And remember, we want to have good nutrition. We're working on getting better fuel in our body. Okay, so I can pay $1 more and have more nutrition. And here's what I don't get with this organic pepper. I don't get as much pesticide and insecticide and all of that. Okay. All those things. Now they do use, I do know that organic farmers do use some of those things. All right. Some chemicals, but not as much as the non-organic. So I'm going to pay $1 more. I'm probably going to pay $2 more to get an organic, and I probably just not going to eat as much. Okay. So I want to encourage you when you can to buy organic. And I know at Walmart and some of the grocery stores, I'll have to buy frozen organic, like frozen organic spinach. I put that in my spaghetti. I put it in my chili. If I make that keto hamburger casserole that's in the cookbook, I add a bag of that frozen spinach to the casserole. My husband's like, I don't taste it, Nancy. He's like, just put it in there. We need it. We need the good greens. So I'm adding to my recipes. If I make soup, I'm going to throw in. So the frozen vegetables are usually quick frozen right at the site where they're picked. All right. If you buy fresh vegetables, they're picked and shipped from somewhere, unless they're local. So you're probably getting a fresher vegetable that's frozen than one that's fresh. Now, there are definitely things I like fresh. I like turnips and mustard. You know, I like to buy those fresh if they're available, but I can't ever find them organic unless I go up here to in Watkinsville or Athens to the farmer's market, and they do have organics there. But so I just want to encourage you when you can to get organic and eat like you know, with your grass-fed butter and your eggs. I do want to stress to you, if you can find somebody that has range-fed chickens, you know, chickens are carnivores. They eat all kind of stuff. They're not supposed to eat grains. I mean, they do eat grains, but they're really created to just roam around and get worms and whatever. And so if you can find somebody that's got some range-fed chickens, but if you've ever bought those range-fed organic eggs and tasted them, you will not go back to those 99-cent eggs. I'm just going to tell you, when you crack it open, the yolk stands up and it's bright yellow and it's going to have more nutrition in it. So sometimes they're $4, $5 a dozen. Spend a little extra money, get those good eggs. Because listen, food is about nutrition. It's about fueling your body for success. So when I look at food now, for me, when I look at food, what I'm thinking, is that going to help me to perform? Or is it going to make me sputter? And most people are sputtering. And I'm just going to do this in the onboarding process is most people are headed toward a destination they do not want to be in, and that's the nursing home. And the reason I know that is I worked every day and I evaluated every patient that came in that big facility. 99% of them were there because of what they ate. There were a few that were there because of a car wreck or some, cancer disease, but even that, so is what we eat. So what you're doing by starting this program is you're saying, no, I'm not going there. Some of my clients call it a keep me out of the nursing home program. Okay. And nursing homes are fine for people that need them, but maybe at 80 or 90, not at 60 or 70. And that's what I saw every day, people coming there and it was their nutrition. So what you're doing is you're changing where you're going to end up in a year, in 10 years, where you're going to land, and your kids are going to thank you, because you're going to be able to take care of yourself longer. And that's an admirable goal. I'm just going to tell you, because it was so sad to me to see those people in their 60s and 70s, and they think they got there because they had a heart attack or stroke or an amputation or diabetes or all, knee replacement, but they got there because of what they put in their mouth. So you're changing that. All right. So again, I'm going to say it's hard, but it's not complicated. So let's don't make it complicated. All right, so I'm gonna give you 5 tips to make it easy. First of all, get your veggies first. So when you sit down to a meal, if you've got meat and veggies, eat your salad first. Still get your full with the salad and then eat your protein. But you do need the protein, and it needs to be at the beginning, especially, it needs to be fatty protein. So if you don't like dark meat chicken, then you're going to have to eat your white meat chicken with some fat, with some butter, with some something, because white meat chicken has very little fat and it's going to spike your insulin more than dark meat. So it's your proteins and fats together that you need to get. Like salmon is an excellent choice. Hamburger meat, if you can get 85-15 or 80-15, that's going to be better than your lean. Now you're probably thinking, oh my God, my whole life I've been told I wasn't supposed to be eating this fat. Right? Shake your head. Yep. You have been told that. Eat parquet, which actually is plastic, okay? But eat parquet. Well, look at America. The low-fat diet didn't work for America, and it's not working for you. So I'm just going to tell you, every time I go to the doctor, the last time I went, my blood work was perfect. And before I started this, my cholesterol was going up. My blood pressure was always a little low, but you know, I had low energy. I mean, things were happening, and now I'm endless energy. I mean, I love how I feel, and it's because of the fuel that I put in my body. Now, don't hear me saying that you can't ever have a piece of pie or a piece of cake or this or that. It's not about never. It's about the majority of the time you want to put good fuel in your body, and then occasionally have a treat. Don't call it a cheat, because a cheat comes with guilt and shame. So don't say you're cheating. You're treating yourself because you've done the right thing. So here's kind of how it goes. So maybe you got a trip planning up. Somebody jumped on and said, well, tomorrow it's my birthday. And I'm like, okay, well, just plan to go enjoy yourself, and have something healthy, but get right back on it the next day. And that's what's good about this, is you can start all over. I had a girl, she had lost her 30 pounds and she went to Europe for 3 weeks. And she said, I drank the wine, I ate the pasta, I ate the bread. She said, but as soon as I got back home, I knew exactly what to do. So for the rest of your life, you're going to know what to do. And you're really going to hear my voice. You're going to hear my voice for the rest of your life saying, fuel your body to perform. See that food as fuel, because a cupcake is always going to be good if it's a good cupcake. But is it going to fuel your body? So the question is not, will this cupcake or donut be good? The question is, will this take me toward my goal? And if you have it every day, you're not going to reach your goal. The goal is to keep your insulin from spiking. What the intermittent fasting does, and we're going to talk about that next week, because by next Sunday, you should begin to, and some of you may have already had, you should be really far along toward ketosis. You should be in ketosis. You should not be hungry, okay? Because I'm going to tell you, if you're eating carbs, the next day you're going to be hungry. So if you treat yourself, have y'all noticed that when you eat, if you eat carbs, even an apple or a peach or half a peach or whatever, if you eat those extra carbs, the next day you'll be hungry. That's just the way our body works. Okay, so number one is you're going to try to consume your veggies first and then your meat, but get those veggies in. All right, so number two, you want to make sure you're getting your protein and fat together. So 4 to 6 ounces of protein at your meal. So like the size of the palm of your hand. So that would be like a pork chop or a hamburger patty or a chicken or, whatever. That's about, now if men need a little bit more, but women, that's mostly what we need. And then you want to add your fat. So you're going to be adding your MCT oil and like to your coffee. If you don't drink coffee, maybe hot tea, or maybe just take it down in some water, put it in some water and drink it down, but you want to get that in there. Now, later on, when you get further and deeper in ketosis, we're going to move away from some of that fat, because if you're putting fat in, I call that dietary fat or exogenous fat, your body's going to use that first. And we want it to burn what's stored. Anybody reach down and grab some stored fat? Yeah. Okay. All right. So here's what you're going to say when you get hungry those first few days. You're going to reach down, you're going to grab that fat, and you're going to say, there's your meal, eat it. And if you don't put food in, your body will burn that fat. That's what ketosis is fat burning. All right. And then when we throw the fasting on top of it, you're going to really see your body start shredding that fat. And the first place the fat goes away is around your organs. And so you're going to see that right below your chest. You're going to see that shrinking in. Okay. And then eventually that belly's going to go away. Okay. So then the fourth thing is make sure you're getting your nutrients. So this isn't about starvation. Okay. You want to get good, but it's about fueling your body for success. It's about putting good fuel in your body. Your body is your temple. It's what holds you, and it's what carries you around. And most of you take better care of your car than you do your body. So you want to be sure and get your sleep. You really want to work on that. Go to bed earlier. If you're staying up late, you want to go to bed earlier. You want to train yourself not to get up and go to the bathroom through the night. And the way you do that is, first of all, you're not going to be eating close to bedtime, and you're not going to be drinking close to bedtime. All right. So get that water in. If you go to bed at 10, get that water in by 8 or 8:30 so you can empty your bladder. And then when your bladder tries to remind you to get up and go to the bathroom, you just say, nope, not tonight. And you lay there and you tell it, nope, you're empty. And now that first night, you may have to get up, but this is a training process. See, your bladder has trained you to get up, but you got to train it now. So you got to overcome it. So you might have to do a meditation. You might have to do, something, but the goal is to get you where you don't have to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, because that's interrupting your sleep. That sleep is vital to your health. It's so vital. And I know some of y'all are sitting there, oh, if she just knew I don't sleep at all. And I'm like, but we want to work on that. Okay. So we really do want to work on that. So there's some different things we can talk about. If you have a problem with that, then you can message me and we'll get kind of specific with that. Okay. All right. So your nutrients, you got to get your electrolytes. And there's a couple of electrolyte powders that if you're interested, I'll post it in the Vimify app, but you can make your own. I showed y'all that in the guides. It's called a keto cocktail. You can make your own from scratch, or you can order some. Propel water is not a bad one. I think it might have some natural flavor in it. I'm not sure which. Natural flavor is not natural at all. I just want you to know. So, all right. And then don't feel deprived. Let's see. Yeah. So you're not deprived. So here's one of my quotes. Well, two. I'm gonna give you two. Right. I'm gonna give you three right here. Okay. Three of my favorite quotes. Number one is, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. That's a Wayne Dyer quote. And if you look at food differently, it will change. And you can ask so many of these people that are on here now, when they look at a cookie or a pack of crackers or cupcakes or pizza, it looks different to them now than it did before. Before it was, oh, I'm going to comfort myself with this. This is going to be good. But when you change the way you look at it, you say, no, it might taste good, but it's going to make me, just like we went up there to Indiana to that ball game. I wanted to feel good. I wanted to enjoy it. And we went out for pizza the night before, and I wanted some of that Chicago pizza. So I ate one piece. And then the other piece, I just scraped off the top because it was a veggie pizza. My husband got the meat pizza. I got the veggie. And the reason I did that is because I wanted to feel good the next day, And then at the ball game, I got the sausage dog, but I ate mostly around the bun, because it was the sausage dog that I wanted. So you'll begin to think about what you'll see it as a means to an end. So food is a means, it's a way to nourish your body to get to an end. Now I'm just talking, this has already been an hour. Well, no, we just got 30 minutes. All right, so here we go. So here we go. Don't eat unless you're hungry. So once you get in ketosis, you won't be hungry. Okay. And so I want you to think about that. If you're not hungry, it's a perfect time to skip a feeding or a meal. And what you'll notice is you'll have more energy, because think about it. When you eat a meal, what happens? Your energy drops. And the reason it drops is because your body has to work really hard. It pumps a lot of blood to your gut to digest all that food. And it takes about 12 hours to digest a couple of pieces of pizza. They did that on some college students. So most people have put 2 or 3 meals on top of that one. So think about it, how your body is going to love it when it's not trying to digest so much and do so much. And your gut is going to heal. It's going to take you about a month once you get off the gluten, because gluten is terribly toxic. And the oils, the vegetable oil, the canola oil, the soy oil, all those things. And so that's why I tell you to read those packages. Gosh, that lunch they gave us on that going to Indianapolis, I'm like, they are trying to kill us. Like they're trying to kill us with this lunch. It was one of those Hidden Valley nature, Hidden Valley protein bar. And when I flipped it over and looked at what was in it, I thought, this has changed. Because I mean, I used to eat those, but now it was just loaded with toxins. And I just thought, why would I eat that? I'd just as soon be hungry than put that in my body. And then it was, they did give us a pear, and then they gave us a cookie and a hard roll. It did have some turkey, and then I pulled that out and ate that. And then one other thing, some chips. And when I read what was in those chips, they were the baked chips. I thought, this is just straight up poison. I wanted to say, maybe this is an Alabama company. They're trying to kill all the Georgia fans or something. All right. So let me answer some questions that got sent in. So somebody asked about lemon. Lemon is a fruit, okay, but it's great for your digestion. So if you want to squeeze lemon in your lemon water in the morning, go ahead and do it. You would need to count those carbs, but it's not going to be very many carbs. And certainly you can use lemon zest in things. The other was tomatoes, and I'm kind of iffy about tomatoes. For the first 20 challenges, I said no tomatoes for the first month, because tomatoes are a fruit. But then, I noticed that people, were kind of, especially in the springtime when the new tomatoes came in. So here's what I'm going to say. You can have occasionally, but you're going to need to count those carbs and not have them every day. So you can't have spaghetti, then chili, and then lasagna, and then whatever. You can have all that, okay? Not every day. So a couple of times a week you can do the tomatoes, but you're going to have to count the carbs, okay? All right, and then somebody asked about total carbs or net carbs. All right, so here's what I'm going to tell you, and I'm probably going to do a video on my Facebook. And by the way, if you go to Dr. Nancy Stanley, my YouTube channel, there's over 100 videos, cooking videos, some devotionals. There's some other videos about ketosis and intermittent fasting, and just on why not grains, and just a lot of information there. Okay. But, and I'm going to be posting some of those videos in this challenge. All right. So, if it is something with a lot of ingredients that are not, let's just say, whole food ingredients, then you're going to need to count the net carbs. All right. But if it is a whole food, like say broccoli, or like 1 or 2 ingredients, then you can count total carbs. So just know that. But if it's like some kind of bar that's got all these things in it, then you'll need to count your net carbs. But fiber is the only carb, that we wouldn't count that at all. Well, and you don't count your leafy greens. So in the 20, you don't count any of that. So your cruciferous vegetables are your broccoli, asparagus, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, turnips, mustard, kale, all of that. Okay. So, but your starchy carbs are going to be your squash, your zucchini, your, what else am I going to say? Sweet potato, even white potatoes. You know, there's nothing wrong with potatoes, all right, except they have a lot of carbs. Okay. And so if I'm going to eat potatoes, I want to eat organic, because anything like onions, garlic that's grown in the ground is going to be soaking up a lot of pesticide that's been put on that ground. All right. So if I'm going to get organic, I really, especially anything grown in the ground, like a sweet potato, I really want it to be organic if I'm buying them. And you can buy organic sweet potatoes. So like onion, I buy organic onion, I buy organic garlic, and you know, I spend a little extra money. Okay, so that was all right. So what breaks a fast? That was the other one. Well, let me just say this: anything breaks a fast except water. If even coffee will raise your insulin level up. I mean, that's just how sensitive our body is. Some things more than others, and I'm going to probably do a video real soon about, you know, the best things, but it's the carbs that break the fast the most. So like heavy whipping cream, for instance, I put that in my coffee every morning. I've done it forever. And, you know, I've been able to maintain my weight. So, and I put a lot, you know, because I like it. And I froth it along with my couple of drops of stevia, and I use MCT oil. So you think, well, that should raise your insulin. It will, but only for about 15 or 20 minutes. So it's not throwing me out of ketosis. Okay. The only way to know if it's breaking your fast is if you check your insulin, because everybody's different. If you've been insulin resistant for a long time, then it's probably going to break your fast. Okay. It's probably going to raise your insulin, but the only way to know is for you to check your blood sugar 15 minutes after you eat it, or 30 minutes, or an hour. And so that's the only way to know. But just know that the only way to not break your fast is to do a water fast. Okay. And so, but there's a difference in breaking your fast and spiking your insulin. You know, you raise your insulin with certain foods, and just like white meat chicken is going to raise your insulin more than dark meat chicken. It's both chicken. It's just one has fat. So if you're doing protein, like whey protein is really going to raise your insulin up. Okay. So, and I've got a video, if any of y'all are, you know, want to do protein powders or whatever, there's a lot of good ones, and then there's a lot of bad ones. So there's definitely, and you get more for your money with some. Thomas DeLauer, I don't know if y'all know who he is, but he's a friend of mine. I've met him at conferences, keto conferences and stuff. He has millions of followers, and he does all kind of videos. And he's got a really good video where he goes in the store in Walmart and looks at all the different protein powders. I personally don't make a shake. I like to eat my calories. I like to eat my food, but I'm not against it. I'm just, sometimes I will do a green powder, you know, just drink it down in a, and they're like athletic greens. I have a link for that if you're interested in that. They're good. I mean, they're good for you. There's some that are not worth the money. I wouldn't advise buying your supplements from Walmart. I've got some links to some supplements if you want to use some supplements. I use Dr. Living Good's vitamin D because it has magnesium, it has a prebiotic, it has zinc, it has curcumin, you know, so I'm trying to limit the number of capsules that I take in the morning. But I really just work hard at getting my nutrition from good whole food. And the best food is going to be one ingredient food, like broccoli or asparagus or hamburger beef, or, you know, those are your best things. Now I'm going to put garlic in my broccoli. That's another one ingredient. And use your onions and garlic. They're great. They have a lot of long names that I could tell you, but they have a lot of phytonutrients in them. So you want to use that. You know, if it calls for one onion, put two. If it calls for 1 clove of garlic, put 4. It's what I do, so I want to encourage you in that. Okay, so let me see. All right, I'm trying to look. One of the things that people ask about is salad dressing. There are definitely more salad dressings out there now that are good. I like to make my own just because I know what's in there, and you keep that bottle around. It may say keto friendly, it may say low carb, but it's going to have a lot of stuff in it. And most of the time, it's going to have canola oil, which you don't want, or vegetable oil. Those are toxins. Okay. So I think that's why America's in so much pain, why we're so depressed, why we're so, our energy level is so low, because of all these toxins, all the people that are eating French fries and chicken that's fried in canola oil and vegetable oil. Just Google what is it made out of? There's some most countries you can't even, it's not even allowed to be sold, but we're living on it here in America. So it's really sad to me. But I like to make my own. There's some in the guide section. There are several recipes. There's a vinaigrette. I've actually got one I made. Well, I think I told you this. I went to it's on here, Facebook Live. I went to Panera Bread on the way home from the ball game, and I love their Fuji apple chicken salad. But that salad dressing they have is great, but it is so sweet, and it's like 18 carbs in a serving. So I went home and did the copycat, but made my own. So I will be sharing that in a video soon, and I'll be posting it here and sharing that recipe. But just balsamic and avocado oil. I like avocado oil better than olive oil because olive oil has a taste to it. Avocado oil, I don't taste anything in it. But I would encourage you to make your own dressing. Again, learn to Google. Fiber is the only carb that doesn't affect your insulin. So that's why I encourage you. You can eat all the leafy greens you want. You don't have to count those carbs because there's so much fiber in them. Okay. So now let's see, what about the low carb wraps? Also cheese. So the low carb wraps, you got to flip it over and read the ingredients. Most of them are going to have potato starch. They're going to have monosodium glutamate or whatever. If you can find one that doesn't, then post it in here and let us see. I just like, if I'm going to do like a taco, I just do it in a bowl. I just put the meat sauce in there and cheese and lettuce and, tomato. I just put all that, and guacamole. I love guacamole. So I put all that in there. Okay. Should we skip the coffee with MCT oil if we're not hungry? You're talking about in the morning. You could. I mean, I just like to hold my coffee cup. I mean, it's just kind of one of those things for me. But if you wanted to, you certainly could, and just wait and eat when you're hungry. You definitely want to hydrate. So the first thing I do in the morning is I drink 2 12-ounce glasses of water because you're dehydrated when you first wake up. So you want to do that. And honestly, if I get hungry in the day at all, the first thing I'll do is I'll go over and drink a big glass of water. And then if I'm still hungry, then maybe it's time to nourish my body. All right, so let's see. Choose healthy to get healthy. Yeah, so really what this is a get healthy and then your body will fall in line. So how many carbs a day should we be eating? 20 is less than 20. But remember, your leafy greens don't count. So here's where you would find your carbs. Like if you ate pecans, there's some carbs in pecan. Your salad dressing, your ketchup, your cheese, your maybe if you ate squash, or if you ate let's see, I'm trying to think what else. I don't eat that many different things, so it's kind of hard for me. Like if you ate even some of the gluten-free crackers, or but again, with those you want to look at what's in the ingredients. Okay. Is a recipe there's the recipe for ranch dressing mix. It's in it's actually under the recipes. Go to the guide section, click on recipes, scroll down, and there's like a Luana's vinaigrette, there's a Primal Ranch, but that may not be your favorite ranch dressing. So I Google ranch dressing mix, and there's 100 of them on there. And I use the one, everybody kind of likes something different. So I use the one that uses the buttermilk mix in it, so, okay, let's see. The coffee with MCT will keep you from getting hungry. I don't skip it. Yeah, that's why I put the MCT in the morning. We'll keep, but if you're really trying to shred fat, you might want to cut back on that a little bit. Once you start getting in ketosis and you're not hungry, then you can do that. Well, what's the benefit of MCT oil? Okay, so MCT oil is a medium chain triglyceride. And what that means is it's going to go directly to your cell. It bypasses the liver. It boosts your mitochondria. It gives nutrition to the cell to operate. And that's why I love MCT oil. And it's coconut oil, basically. 60% of coconut oil is MCT. So it's just a medium chain triglyceride. Ghee is another example of a good fat. It's clarified butter. You can use other things. Okay, well, MCT oil, break your fast. I try to fast until later in the day. You'd have to check your blood sugar. I think, Donna, that was you asking that question, maybe. You'd have to, it'd be hard for me to say. It doesn't seem to affect me because it doesn't make me hungry. In fact, it actually curbs my appetite. But all right, let's see. How many carbs a day? I already told you that. Should we skip the coffee? I think that's it, unless I'm okay. Choose okay. Coffee with heavy whipping cream and MCT. That's what I do first thing in the morning with a little bit. And there's some keto. There's some keto chocolate that you can, hot chocolate mix or whatever that you can use. One of my favorite snacks, and I did not like avocados when I started this. I thought, ooh, they just don't really have any taste. But now if I get like, I don't want to eat a meal, but I want something, I'll cut an avocado in half and sprinkle some olive oil on it and some salt and just have at it. And I love it. I feel like it immediately curbs my appetite, and I'm good to go. Okay. All right. Does anyone else have anything? You can, I can unmute you. You can unmute and just make a comment or whatever. So maybe what we'll do now is, so we're supposed to be eating 3 meals a day. You can start off eating 3 meals a day. Okay. So, but what you're wanting to try to do is bump your breakfast back a little bit, because we are going to start fasting. We're going to do our first fast next Sunday. All right. So we're going to start Sunday after. We will be fasting together some. You can fast whenever you want to, but I thought if we did it together, that might help you. So next Sunday after, maybe if you want to eat lunch or you want to eat an early dinner, and then we'll fast till Monday. So that'll be our first 24-hour fast. And listen, don't get all freaked out if you're not ready to do that. It's fine. Everybody's different. Everybody's got a different path. We're just kind of all going to try to move forward together. So, yeah, let's see. All right. So Tina, I'm going to unmute you and put you in the hot seat. How about that? Okay. Can you unmute? All right. So tell me, Tina, was fasting hard for you? Did you have a headache? How did you do with your fasting at the beginning?
Well, I eased into it like you're suggesting. I didn't start at the beginning fasting. I just tried to I usually don't eat lunch anyway because I'm so busy at work and don't really have a chance. So I would eat something light at breakfast and then wait, and then I usually would just drink my coffee and with my heavy whipping cream and MCT oil through the morning, and then I would be fine until I got off work, which I get off work at 3:15. So then I'd usually have me some toasted pecans or something like that until supper time. So I did that for at least the first week or maybe even 2 weeks. And then I started trying to fast and just eat 1 meal a day. And that's pretty much what I do now is I try to eat just 1 meal a day. I eat supper is the meal I've chosen to eat because I cook for my husband. It's just me and him now, so it's a little bit easier and what I eat. So I'm now on the 1 meal a day, and pretty much every day. And on the weekends I sometimes don't do that.
Yeah. Thank you, Tina. Okay. So let me jump up here to, let's see. How about you, Donna? Why don't you share about fasting? I know you did some fasting.
Yeah, well, it was pretty easy for me, but I had to kind of work into it too. But what made it, I think, a little bit easier for me at the beginning was I've never been a really big breakfast eater anyway. So I would try, and I kind of had to develop a taste for black coffee. But once I did, I love it. And so I would, just drink my coffee and then try to eat a late lunch and then just make sure I didn't eat after a certain time, like 6 or 6:30. And I found that if I went to bed early, that really helped me a lot because I wasn't tempted to eat at night because I was asleep. So that's just kind of how I started. And then I just kind of pushed back my eating. When I wanted to do a longer fast, I would just push back my first meal to, later in the day. So I just, I had really, I'm just now really getting back into it, but I had really gotten to the point that I was doing like a 22-hour fast each day, and I was not hungry, and I felt the best I've ever felt.
Awesome.
But I've got to get back into that.
So I see Martha has said over here to tell him, yes, you can have your coffee, and you can have, like I have coffee every day, and I put MCT oil in it and I put heavy whipping cream in it, but black coffee is great too, and so yes, you can have coffee. Now you said about the low carb wraps at Walmart, but they have some wheat in them. We don't want any wheat, and the reason we don't want wheat is because of the gluten and what it does to the lining of your gut. All right, and we'll talk more about that later, but gluten is very toxic to your gut lining, and that's why so many people have leaky gut, diverticulitis, irritable bowel, SIBO, all those things. So we're going to want to heal our gut, and so that's why we're moving away from gluten. So you're really going to have to look at some of your things. Okay, so anybody else have anything? Let's see. I see down here, well, we'll talk about that later. Okay. All right, so here we go. I want to pray for you, okay? And I just want you to know that your best help is going to be the Holy Spirit. And then your second best help is going to be each other. And getting on the Marco Polo, introducing yourself, and watching that every day. If you don't have that yet, let me know, but you should have the Marco Polo. And so I jump on there. I'm going to try to do it 8 or 8, maybe 7:38. I'm retired now. I guess you call it retired. This is my side hustle, but honestly, I love it. And they wanted me to come back to work, but I'm just like, you know what? I want to do this more because there's so many people that need help. So let your friends know about this. You can still invite people. I will probably add some people up until the end of the week. And then after that, I've added people at the last 2 weeks of the challenge and they did great. They just went on into the next challenge, but I just kind of want to keep us together. And so, if you've got a friend you want to share it with, if you invite them, I do have a bonus that I give if they mention that you've invited them. So just let me know about that. All right, so I just see one. Okay, yeah, Anna says she likes monk fruit better than stevia. Yes, there are people. I don't like stevia in dairy. So when I do I buy whole fat organic yogurt, and now I'm not trying to lose weight. So I'll put some strawberries and some blueberries, and I'll put a little bit of maple syrup in it, and or like some cinnamon, and I don't like stevia in it, but I like the maple syrup, but I can also do the monk fruit. So it does have a different taste. And the allulose is another sweetener. Okay, y'all might want to write this down, and maybe I'll put it in the notes too. There are 3 people that I follow that are just amazing cooks and have some amazing recipes. All right, Wholesome Yum, WHOLESUM, Wholesome Yum. And she's got a website, and I get her recipes and stuff. And my plan is to do more cooking demos this time with different recipes. I'm just kind of stuck in my ways. We eat pork chops and cabbage and slaw, and then we eat hamburgers and broccoli, and then we eat steak and asparagus and meatloaf. It's just kind of easy. I can do it without looking at a recipe, and my husband loves it. And then I'll make a soup. I make that zuppa Toscana. I think I sent that out, but are y'all like me? I just kind of get stuck on things, and every now and then I'll bring out something new, but there's some really good recipes in that book. So I do need to switch it up some. Okay, so what was I saying? Okay, so Wholesome Yum, Joy Filled Eats, JOYFILLED Eats, joyfilledeats.com. And then the other one, you're going to laugh at this one. The name of hers is All Day I Dream About Food. And she is the cutest thing. She's got really short hair, and I love her recipes too. So, and these people have been doing this for a long time. So they perfected a lot of recipes for things like, cheesecake or hot chocolate, or, hot chocolate mix, or brownie in a cup, or I just mentioned a bunch of sweet stuff. So I'm going to touch on that real quick, but I'll probably talk about this more next week. You can't have sweet stuff in your mouth every day and do this successfully. I just want to tell you that. You just can't. And that may be shocking to some of y'all, like, what? I can't have my Diet Coke, or I can't have my, stevia in my whatever, but your brain perceives it as sugar, as sweet. And so you're not going to get away from the craving if you're feeding that sweet tooth all the time. So just begin to tell yourself that this is not healthy. I don't think our bodies were created to eat something sweet all the time. So just begin to move away from that and treat yourself maybe once a week. Like, I'll buy a big candy bar like this, and I'll eat a little square of it like once every 4 or 5 days, but I don't eat it every day. Now, I will go through a little spurt where I'll eat like 3 days in a row. I'll have a piece of chocolate, something stressful going on or whatever, but it's chocolate with stevia in it and almonds. It's not, it's it's dark chocolate. Okay. But I know that I can really fall into the trap of telling myself I need some chocolate when I don't really need any chocolate. I'm treating myself. So, okay. Well, I'm going to jump off now. I think we've been on here about an hour. So, okay. You haven't maybe explained the Vimify questions. Well, first thing in the morning, when you wake up, your app, when you look on your app, it's going to look different than it is today. Oh, there's one thing I wanted to tell you. Okay, the prep week. Okay, so in the morning when you get up, it'll be like tasks that you do. It should take you about a minute and a half. You can either do them at night or in the morning. But I'm going to tell you, there is a prize for who gets the most points, and you get certain points for what you do. But you want to spend about a minute and a half and decide when you're going to do it. Because I'm going to tell you, the people that post the most get the most results. And I can't coach you if you don't show up. All right. So, but when you're on your app, so I can't really show you now, but let me just show you. Okay. So up here across the top, you'll see it says today, and then it has like tomorrow, and there's a lot. You can always, so when you get on tomorrow, the prep's going to be gone, but you can go back to it by clicking on Sunday, and it'll be here for 2 weeks. So you'll have it to go back and reference for those of you that maybe just jumped in today or yesterday. You'll have that prep to go back to. So just know that you can go back to the prep and watch those videos. But now in the guides are always there. So remember, down here at the bottom of the task, right below that shopping video is your guides. Okay. All right. So I will be, if you did not get an email, look at that cute puppy. If you did not get an email about this Zoom and you just got it in the text, but you didn't get the email, let me know, because I had to go in and individually text all of y'all, and I'm not going to do that every week. I'm going to send you an email, and I'm going to put it in the app, in the Vimify app. So I just want to make sure everybody got it. Okay. Well, let me pray for you. Father, in Jesus' name, we come before you, and we are so thankful that you made a way for us. You made a way for us to be healthy, and we're going to follow it. We're going to step into it, and we're going to trust you to give us the help that we need. And we're going to not lean on our own understanding. We're going to acknowledge you and watch you make a way for us. Thank you for each person on here, and just help. It's never, God, what are you going to do? You're always going to do the right thing. It's what are we going to do? Are we going to lean into you, humble ourselves, and receive the help and support you're giving us? In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, thank y'all, and we'll talk soon. Good night.
Night.
Let's see if I can unmute everybody, and you can say good night. I don't know if I can. I can't do that.
Good night.
Good night. Okay, you can unmute.
Good night.
I'm going to stop this recording.